Another day in the NBA and time for the work to begin as it always does here on the Splash Play channel. Where today I'm going to compare my projections to one of the industry leaders out there, our friends over at Stokastic. We'll see the top plays are, the top value plays are. We'll also go game by game. We'll check the ownership along the way. We'll hop over to Stokastic, run a sim, see the top ROI lineups are. I'll do a hand build. By the end of this video, guys, you will know all of the industry's must plays along with my splash plays for today, March 18th, 2026. Let's get into it here. Brand new slate today. Yesterday, talked about had that free ticket to the Slam Jam, $220 entry fee. Not finished in first place, but did cash, so got some money back on that one. Felt pretty good. Those tournaments, always a pain in the ass, but the biggest thing for me is like Khalil Ware didn't hurt me as much in that tournament. Hurt me a lot more in the 4-point play. Probably a lesson in there somewhere for high stakes entries. But I brilliantly yesterday locked two guys that I mentioned on video. Locked Jose Alvarado. That worked really well. Also locked Khalil Ware. One of those did not work out so well. Khalil Ware kept me from anything good last night, as I'm sure he did for many of you guys. But that's the nature of the NBA DFS world, of course. We're on to a new slate today. And one quick thing before we hop into today's data, I did mention this on the Discord. There is a new corollary to my projections that I had to create today, in particular for one player. And we don't normally start with value, but I am going to start with this guy here. Bez Mbeng. So Bez Mbeng, guy getting 22 minutes in Stokastic data right now. Has only played a little bit so far this year. I believe played 30 minutes in the last game for the Jazz. He's been terrible so far to start. In the G League too, he's also pretty terrible, like a 10% used rate guy. I don't think an awful shooter or anything, but not anybody special. Had to put in a little bit of control for guys like Mbeng because earlier today, Stokastic was making Mbeng look like the most important player on the slate. They're giving him 30 minutes of the data, giving him like a 24 fantasy point projection. I presume because basically they treated Bez Mbeng like he was a league average player coming in. And like we talked about, you know, these G League guys coming in, these even worse than G League guys, sometimes making team rosters lately as they all try to find new ways to tank. These guys are not league average players. A lot of them, in fact, are going to be guys that are, you know, bottom 20th percentile players, bottom 50th percentile players. Obviously, that would be, you know, under league average. But a lot of them will be towards that even lower part of the bottom 20th percentile. So for guys like Bez and Beng, I wanted to have some kind of control where I'm not just taking him as the awful player he's been so far in the NBA, but giving him a shot to get back to something resembling, you know, what his version of league average will be, which is probably like a 20th, 30th percentile player. So Bez and Beng only getting 13 points in my data today, but he did make a change in my projections that's going to be really important for this last month of the NBA season, where we're getting guys coming in, and some of them are not good, some of them are kind of good in a small sample size. Those guys will get rewarded in my data relatively, even though we'll expect them to play a little bit less well, you know, per minute because of who they are coming into a roster at this stage of the NBA season. But it is something that's changed in my data, and I do want to highlight it here. It's all the things that, of course, can go chaotic in an NBA season. That's another one that can go chaotic. But our top projected players here, let's get into the actual slate right now. Going to be a lot of things to point out here, as we always do. Some questions that I have about Stokastic minutes, where they are right now, how they're going to lead people to play today, you know, across the industry. But we'll get to those as we get there. One guy there's no questions about today is Nikola Jokic, 12.5 salary. Let me pull in Stokastic data on the screen. 63.5 projected for me on Nikola Jokic right now. Stokastic at 65.3 in their data. 33% ownership for the field on Nikola Jokic, facing a Memphis team that, as we know, does not really want to win, does also not have really any big men of note that can stop a mid-tier center, let alone Nikola Jokic. So for Jokic in this spot, hard to critique him. The ownership is well at 33% rather. At a 12.5 salary, doesn't seem like it's anything too onerous here. Like we always talk about in these slates, when we have a guy like Jokic, 50% owned, you know, 60% owned, what does that get you at that point? You kind of want to start to think about more unique lineups at that point and see what else can get there in terms of spiking a ceiling around Jokic. But with Jokic only being 33% owned, I think, and this has been the case every slate, I feel like I make the same point sometimes because NBA is sometimes that simple slash the way we play it is. For Nikola Jokic, he should, I think, again, be in about half your lineups here. We'll probably have enough value that opens up throughout the course of a slate. You know, teams like Indiana have, I believe, another 8 Q tags again today. Value will open up there. Guy like Quentin Jackson, who's on the who's on the thumbnail right now. He might not matter as much if he gets ruled out, number one. But also, if you have all those guys playing for the Pacers, he might not matter as much. But there will be some value that opens up that allows you to get to Jokic on the slate with the amount of teams that we have and the amount of players and teams that are on a back-to-back. So Jokic here, I think a priority play today. He should be in about half your lineups, to be my guess. And it wouldn't shock me if the ownership for Stokastic comes up as the day goes on, because he's just a very easy, obvious play, and really a situation where he should be like the next player, Jalen Johnson, putting up a triple-double in like, you know, 10, 20 minutes of play. It's what the matchup that he has against Memphis and how easy it should be for him to score, especially if Aaron Gordon is out in the back-to-back as well. Jalen Johnson, we got 35.6 minutes for him, 10-7 salary facing Dallas. Dallas sometimes makes it tough on high usage players. Jalen Johnson, though, at 10-7, obviously does have a pretty big ceiling overall. Hawks at this point, mostly full strength, so not a lot to love there. You have seen big ceilings lately for guys like Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Of course, having Kuminga in as well, maybe not the best thing for Jalen Johnson, even though it does seem like Kuminga being hurt has sort of kept him at bay for maybe taking more minutes and getting Jalen Johnson into like the low 30s as opposed to the mid to high 30s in terms of minutes played per game. Jalen Johnson here at 13% owned by the field. I'm getting 17% across my 100,000 contest sims that I run at splashplaypodcast.com. I think Jalen Johnson, to me, would be one of your pivots, Jokic, but really not a better pivot than Josh Giddey, than Kawhi Leonard. SGA, I think, is probably your worst pivot out of the group, just given the fact that Brooklyn, no MPJ today. That team that I saw this past weekend live and in person against the Sixers, being down by like 25 plus points at one point. They caught up at the end of that game, but like, that's a terrible, terrible Nets team without MPJ, without some of the guys they have right now with limited minutes for your Claxtons, your Clownies, and those types of guys. SGA, I don't see being a live pivot, but Jalen Johnson at 13% ownership, Giddey at 13, Kawhi at 11. All decent enough matchups. I think these guys are all the ones you should be looking at if you're not playing Jokic and you're paying up, getting to 9K plus players. Jalen Johnson, one of them, but I think Giddey and Kawhi, a little more appealing. But you can see in the sim, though, they're all basically the same guy. 17% sim win rate for Jalen Johnson, 17% for Giddey, 17% for Kawhi. That's what I view them as. They're all kind of the same player. If I can get two of them in a lineup sometimes, cool. That'd be great too, especially Giddey and Kawhi. I think you can pull that off. Jalen Johnson, not special, I think, in terms of a play today. Jokic looks like the best play. Jalen Johnson, part of this tier behind him. Josh Giddey, 51.3 in my projection, 51.3 from Stokastic as well, 13% ownership for the field. I'm getting 17 right now, like I just mentioned. Giddey lately, you can see the minutes as we showed last time out. He's playing high 30s, 40 minutes in most spots. Last game got only 34, but he was facing Memphis. Still put up 65 fantasy points in that spot, so Giddey just crushing lately. Giddey facing a tougher matchup today going against Toronto for sure, but he is getting 38 minutes of the data right now. Maybe a little bit of an aggressive median projection, but it's making him pop up a good amount. Field's not chasing Giddey like crazy after they were playing him 70% plus on last slate, going against Memphis, but going against Toronto here, 13% owned by the field, getting 17. I think if you're not playing Jokic again, Jalen Johnson, Giddey, Kawhi, all them looking good. That's a good one. Giddey impressing for prom season, sure. That's poor. You try to hook up with one 17-year-old, you gotta wear that scarlet letter forever. Kawhi Leonard, $9,700. 11% owned by the field. I'm getting 17. He's facing the Pelicans. Obviously, Pelicans, we like this spot because it's a low-pace situation, not a great defense. Guy like Kawhi, who works so well in that half-court offense, can really benefit going against the Pelicans today. I do think the matchup for him, better than Josh Giddey's going against Toronto. I would say the matchup for him, I think it's a little better than Jalen Johnson going against Dallas, just because Dallas has impeded some of our chalk against them enough times this year, at least anecdotally. Jokic is the best matchup going against Memphis, but Kawhi, I'd say right behind Kawhi, or right behind Jokic is like the number 2 easiest matchup in terms of these spots. You do have Darius Garland in. Garland's usage has been up as well, 30% plus in usage and assist rate. So you're talking about 60% of possessions that Darius Garland sees when he's on the court or going his way. He's killing them either by creating an assist or getting a shot up or a turnover. For Kawhi, think that's something that does hurt the ceiling a little bit. But in the spot, Pelicans team that can be competitive enough. I think Kawhi is a nice pivot. I don't think it's as good of a spot as Jokic, like I mentioned, but right behind it. So Kawhi, another 17% play for me. Fields at 11. I think these guys, to me, it wouldn't shock me if their ownership stays flat and Jokic just comes up as the day goes on. SGA, again, barely getting played here. As our guy Robert from the Turd pointed out a moment ago, Brooklyn team is a G Leaguer. I mean, really, I would say people like to make that assessment a lot. Like they'll call, I don't know, who's like a young team. They'll call whatever young team in the NBA a G League team. And it's like, no, that's just a young team. They're getting there. Like they're figuring out. But like the Nets, even the Wizards are less of a G League team. They still have a few legit guys, at least when, they're all active and playing. For the Nets at this point, it's really only Michael Porter Jr. who matters. Then everybody else, it's terrible. So for SGA, you're not assuming a lot of production. That said, sometimes these teams hang in games unexpectedly. With the Nets being at this point, I think they're an 18.5 point dog. You had an 18.5 point dog at home. I mean, you're not expecting 4 quarters run from SGA, but what if the blowout takes place in the 4th quarter? They get to that 20 points. It happens sometimes to the Thunder where they just had the massive outlier late 3rd quarter, 4th quarter. That's when the blowout really kicks in. So for SGA, if he somehow plays 33 minutes, more than that against a shitty team, he can be really productive. But you're expecting here with that total being what it is, like Again, you don't want to predict blowouts. 19-point spread on the road favoring a team, and also the other team's the Nets at this point. You expect a blowout here. Jamal Murray, 9% owned by the field. I'm getting 12. If Jokic's ownership comes up, do you think that makes Jamal Murray a little bit more appealing at 9K? That said, Aaron Gordon not in the data right now. The assumption is he won't play the back-to-back. Nuggets injury report not out yet as we started the show. So if that changes, then that would certainly knock down Jokic and Jamal Murray at least a little bit. But Murray right now, I think a guy that can hit up a ceiling and also be a player that you get to in lineups without Jokic or with him, I guess, if somehow Memphis stays competitive. So Murray, not a priority play at 9%, but getting 12 here, a little bit above the field. And last but not least, Jaylen Brown, 5% owned by the field. I'm getting 7 here. Did knock his usage down a little bit because Jason Tatum being on the team has really impacted the role that Jaylen Brown had. You're putting up almost 40% usage in every spot. But for Jaylen Brown, shooting guard, small forward, 9,200. Think he and SGA are the least appealing of the pay-up options, but really no ownership on either with them both being under 5%. Finished 10th last night. I guess the night slate. Mistake was Jokic over Raynaud. Who would have thought? And that's what, I mean, that's really the example that I talk about, like for the main slate, but for the night slate, it's more pronounced. For Jokic, even if he gives you, I don't know what he scored yesterday. I could look it up real fast. Because I did not play the night slate yesterday. He only played 25 minutes, 35 fantasy points. That's the situation where getting the leverage against Jokic pays off. And that's on a night slate where the ownership is even more, concentrated. So on a main slate, it is a similar concept where if the field's just there a little bit too much, you are going to get more Jokic, than he deserves based on what his win rate is. And, you are in a similar situation today. Like he didn't play, that many minutes you just saw versus the Kings on the front end of a back-to-back. But what if they smoke Memphis in the same way? Like you get 30 minutes again or under from Jokic, he probably will not pay off. Shout out Jack Flasher for getting to the value, just showing love and creeping. Enjoy the day. Thank you, Jack. I appreciate that a bunch. Let's sort by value here, guys. Before we get into that part of things, one more ask. Or actually, the first ask, I guess. But, there's going to be a lot of them. Hit the like button and subscribe. Goes a long way for me here. I'm just one guy showing you my gambling across the NBA, soon across the MLB as well. NFL, I think we're going to get a stream out for the weekends, too, showing off my new Best Ball Champion tool. It's available at splashplaypodcast.com. But I'm doing the work as best I can for myself, gambling-wise, but looping you guys in, showing you guys everything that I'm seeing, that I'm working on as well at my site. New data tools, new Sims tools, 100,000 contest Sims. So show some love here. Help me keep fighting the good fight against YouTube or, with YouTube. Hit the like button and subscribe. Help me get seen by more people. It really does go a long way for these videos. Check out Stokastic as well. 15% off all their data, all their tools. Link down below. Then use promo code SPLASH when you get over there. And it's any package, weekly, monthly, even yearly. And that's all the data as well. If you want to get all sport packages, you can do that too. Check it out for yourself. Really idiot-proof, great DFS lineups. Yesterday, the biggest testament for you guys, maybe you aren't familiar, 5 of the top lineups yesterday, I think amongst the top 6 on the big tournament on DK, were Stokastic avatar players. So people using their Sims, one of them being their data guy, Rich Green, who also won the Slam Jam big tournament as well with $220 entry fee, 100K to first place. That's what you get with Stokastic. It's like really great data. The people who are using their data and creating it are also doing really well every night, putting in, 150 entries. I mean, Rich has probably put in a fucking 1,000 entries a night, but he's killing it with them. So check it out for yourself over at Stokastic. If you want to build better lineups, if you're a hand builder or somebody putting in 150 maxes, 20 maxes, their tools and data will have the right package for you. So check it out. And of course, join the channel here. You want to be part of the live chats when we are in members only mode Monday to Thursday. You can do that against the Discord as well for $5. You can also join my site, splashplaypodcast.com through YouTube. But you save a lot more money doing it through splashplaypodcast.com. $20 a month for the Squirt Squad tier, $40 a month for the VIP tier. And VIP tier, you get everything I have right now. That's all the NBA stuff, MLB stuff coming up next week with opening day, NFL Best Ball Champion tool out and working now in Underdog and DraftKings with simulations for each pick as well. I'm building a lot of cool shit that I think will help making, really for best ball alone, that was something I really wasn't super stoked to do best ball this year just because I'm not getting paid to do it in the same way this year. But with the tool working as it does, I've been really excited to do that. So that's what I'm trying to build, is things that excite me for the gambling and the stuff I have on each slate and will add value for you guys. So join along for that ride at splashplaypodcast.com, $20 a month, $40 a month. You'll get value out of it no matter which level you choose. Our top values right now. So here's another one where I have to poke a hole in what Stokastic is doing right away. They're not giving City Sissoko minutes. I don't know why. Robert Williams, they're giving 26.5 minutes to. I don't know why. Robert Williams here has played 0 minutes last game, 20 minutes before that, 0, 21, 20. I mean, these are back-to-backs, I presume, right? If we hover, we could see March 16th, March 15th, yep, March 13th. Okay, so he just didn't play March 13th. That was March 10th. This one was a back-to-back. Point being, though, is he's playing like 20 minutes in a spot, even in a situation where, Klingen's healthy. You're getting 20 minutes max, most likely. I don't know why they're giving him 26.5 minutes. He's not actually one of the top values of the slate, but because they gave him an incorrect number of minutes, he's facing Indiana. It's making him look too good. So Robert Williams coming up right now, 48% for the field. I'm getting 80. I would throw that out the window right now. I don't think that'll be the case when we get to lock. Robert Williams at 4,300. If you got surprised Donovan Clingan out or something like that, or if they just, I guess, limited his minutes for some reason. I mean, Clingan last game did play 24 minutes, but I believe that was due to foul trouble. He played 24 last game. Let me real fast pull up add more funds tool here just to make sure. I did not check Klingen's foul status before the show. All right, Clingan here. 1 foul in this stint. 2 fouls here, so he had 3 fouls at halftime. Picked up his 4th. Oh, it was 1. Okay, turnover, 4 foul. So an offensive foul. Picked up his 4th. Then he sat. He closed with a 5th foul. Still played out there. So I really don't know why. It wasn't like they're limiting his minutes, rather, because of the fact that he's, the season's going on. They want to not play him as much. It was just pure foul trouble. So for Robert Williams, getting value, I would throw out the window right now. I'm sure there's some reason Stokastic's either team or their AI minutes agent thing they're running put Robert Williams to get this many minutes, but it's got to come down. I would project him more for like 17 and a half minutes. And at that point at 4,300, don't think he'll come up quite as much as a value. AJ Mitchell, 29% owned by the field. I'm getting 52. AJ Mitchell, a guy that always pops up my data. Lately, starting for the Thunder. That's a positive for him. Unfortunately, not a lot of guys out for the Thunder today. You are getting Lou Dort out, but Chet Holmgren, a Q tag right now. Isaiah Hartenstein out, but you're not getting the big usage uptick that you would get if Holmgren is out. But I think AJ Mitchell, playing reliable minutes as a starter, the usage is a little bit lower than he's just the pure backup point guard and gets the gun in that second unit. But AJ Mitchell at 5K, I think on this slate right now, without a lot of great value, he seems like a player, much like I would assume that I want to get above the field on. And the field's there as well at 29%, but kind of matchup against, Brooklyn that we have today with that big of a total and possibly, Holmgren being out, would say that AJ Mitchell, to me, an appealing play at 5K. We have to say, though, that he has not been that great since returning from injury and playing a lot more with that starting group. I would assume 5K salary for him. 31 projection is what he's getting from me. 31.5 from Stokastic. Yesterday, he played 34 minutes as Mega Chalk. Today, he's shooting guard, small forward. Like going to play a similar amount of minutes against Utah. For Dosunmu, the biggest thing that is the issue that we talked about yesterday. He's really not producing that well on the T-Wolves so far. On the Bulls, he's been one player. T-Wolves a little bit less good of a player, more like a 0.75, 0.8 fantasy point per minute guy. Even if that upticks to 0.85, 0.9, he's still not quite as good as he was on the Bulls. But the situation versus Utah, too easy to get production, to create assists, to create steals, to create easier shots for himself. So I don't think I'm going to be low on Dosunmu today, but right now, the field's 64%. I'm getting 72 across 100,000 contest sims. It's a lot of Dosunmu. Again, I don't think he's a great play. I don't think he was a great play yesterday, just with what he is as a Memphis player, as a Minnesota player compared to what he was as a Chicago player. But the fact he's playing so many minutes and there's no Ant for another week or whatever, and he's facing Utah, all the recipe to go back to Dosunmu again today, even if the ownership gets a little bit high. Jamal Shed getting 23 and a half minutes in the data right now from Stokastic. What has he played lately? So we always got to fact check our minutes here when we're doing the stream, because sometimes Stokastic takes some big jumps on guys when they are doing these early runs of minutes, and it's not all the way there. Jamal Shed, though, last 2 games playing 25 minutes or more. Production, not great at 13 fantasy points. Usually when you pick up more minutes as a bench guy, it can mean you're with that starting group more, and that does mean often the usage, the assist upside goes down a little bit. But for Jamal Shed on this slate, where we just don't have the obvious value yet, he's one of those backup players. It's a little bit cheap at 3,500. That's always a play on these DFS slates. So I get why Jamal Shed's coming up. Fields 26%. I'm getting 33. My projection is at 20.9, which is 1 point higher than Stokastic's at 19.9, but not a very sexy value play because he's not starting. He'd be a fun play if Quickly were out, but that's not happening, it looks like. Bones Highland right behind him, 4,200. Bones last game, we just looked at the Minnesota minutes. Let's go back and see what Bones did. Put up 29 minutes last game with Ant out, so he did get the minutes uptick. Did outproduce Dosunmu as well. 34.5 fantasy points for him. Dosunmu at 27.8. So I think Bones' minutes probably still more secure. I think that Dosunmu's minutes more secure. But Bones' production, you can make the case more secure given the fact that he has produced better, permanent all year long with Ant out, as opposed to Dosunmu really hasn't shown any appreciable upticks in opportunity with Ant off the court. But Bones right now, 49% owned by the field. I'm getting 54, 4,200 facing Utah. You feel like the minutes should be there for him more so today. He's only getting 25 minutes at Stokastic data right now. So I think for me, out of all these guys here, expect Robert Williams to drop in value. Jamal Shed, I think there's better players that'll come around, / maybe you take, I don't know, it feels like a fair minutes projection if he's played 25 the last 2 games, but maybe you give him 22 minutes instead of 23 and a half. That knock him down. But I think Bones, AJ Mitchell, Dosunmu, I think those 3 guys are going to stand no matter what. Ty Jerome, a top value for me, not necessarily a top value for Stokastic. Getting 37.5 projected for me, 33.7 from Stokastic at a $6,700 salary on DraftKings. Ty Jerome, 14% owned by the field. I'm getting 18 here. He has played 25 minutes in his last few games. Right now he's getting 21.5 minutes in the data, so it's a little bit of a short sell. For Ty Jerome, the big thing is that last time out, he had a pretty shitty game, faced Detroit. By Ty Jerome standards, only putting up, I think, just shy of 30 fantasy points in that situation. Not great, but he's still producing on the year. Ty Jerome, I think 1.6 DK points per minute, down to 1.51. But the usage rates do get a little bit higher for the configuration of Grizzlies available today. You are missing some of the higher usage guards, in addition to just in general having probably 12 guys available, but 2 or 3 of them won't really play. So for Ty Jerome, I think it's a decent situation going against a Denver team on a back-to-back. The total as well is really high in this game. 244.5 is highest total on the slate. So for how it looks for Ty Jerome, I'm going to be there again. He's one of my boys. That said, if you want to just be with the field of 15%, I would not full fade Ty Jerome today in this configuration that Memphis has, because it seems like Ty Jerome's biggest upside spot. And last but not least, Naz Reid, we got coming in here, 29.7 projection for me, 30.4 for Stokastic. That gets 36% ownership. And my data here across 100,000 contest sims, Stokastic getting 31% ownership for the field. I think Naz Reid facing Utah can be productive, playing the backup big minutes. Price tag's a little bit low, but not so low that he's like a real value. But I think, again, nice balance build kind of player. And Dosunmu, Bones Highland, Naz Reid, probably going to be players that make a lot of lineups today for Minnesota. Does it say Aaron Gordon is out now? I don't check the injury reports while I'm on stream, but I'll look for you. Just go to NBA injury report and you can find out yourself. It does say Aaron Gordon is out now, so you are to appreciate the heads up. But yeah, Aaron Gordon out, Deron Holmes out, Curtis Jones out, KJ Simpson out, and Peyton Watson still out because expect him to be back on Friday. So yeah, Aaron Gordon officially out now, so the rates you're seeing for Denver should hold based on what we've talked about. Let's go game by game, guys. Before we do that, one quick ask. Please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Again, means a lot for me here. It might seem like it's nothing to you because you hit the like button. It's like a vanity metric. But in reality, it creates more impressions on YouTube. It allows me to get seen by more people, which hopefully allows me to convert more memberships to splashplaypodcast.com. In addition, getting more ad revenue. So a really important part of the process. Again, even though it might not seem like it, is you guys hitting that like button so we keep growing the channel. Same thing for subscribing down below. That is more of a vanity metric. But if you guys want to see my content Monday to Friday at 2 p.m. for the NBA soon, Monday to Friday at 12 p.m. for the MLB is going to be my goal to get those videos out every day. That's coming up here too. So subscribe, hit the like button, come along for the ride, and I will keep working as hard as I possibly can for you guys 6 days a week on the channel. Of course, check out Stokastic as well. 6 days a week on the site, 5 days a week on the channel. Check out Stokastic as well. 15% off with the promo code SPLASH. That's right now any package, monthly, weekly, even yearly for yourself. So you want to try it out for a week, do that. Try it out for a month, get the rest of NBA season. I think that's a great idea too. Get it for a year, get the all-sport package. That'd be an even better idea if you want to really, go hard at DFS. People say it's dying. It's not, given the fact people keep getting payouts with Stokastic data. But check it out for yourself over there. 15% off promo code SPLASH, and you'll do better in DFS. Idiot-proof good DFS lineups if you just don't touch things. And if you do touch things, it'll still give you the best version of lineups that you want to play. And that's really, I think a lot of you guys need based on what I've seen, run into Discord and such for a while now. And last but not least, splashplaypodcast.com. That is, of course, my site that I put a lot of love into there. Get building new tools and data for the NBA, for MLB, for NFL coming up this season as well, but also right now in best ball for NFL. I've got a cool new tool called the Best Ball Champion out. Check it out for yourself at splashplaypodcast.com. It's all one package for this year, so get in there right now for NBA and for MLB. $40 a month for VIP, $20 a month for Squirt Squad tier. You're getting good stuff with both, but I'd recommend VIP if you can. Though this screen you're going to see right now is the Squirt Squad tier. Squirt Squad tier is this, the matchup screen. The projection matrix, let me take off Stokastic, you can see it better. I'm also zoomed in. VIP, my projections exportable here. You still see the projection data and the sim data on the player metrics if you're Squirt Squad tier. Sim data across 100,000 contest sims. See a bunch of different things here like target score. A lot of Discord questions about the stuff lately. Guys scoring 30 plus, 40 plus, 50 plus the most. Of course, my minutes tool, that is Squirt Squad and VIP tier. And then the export for Stokastic is VIP. So check it out for yourself. You're getting something good no matter what tier you join, but join one of them if you can, because it really does go a long way to me. Keep doing what I'm doing. Wrap your hands around the BBC. Yes, indeed. Robert Griffin III, one of the guys trying it out a lot on DraftKings. I know we have some guys trying an underdog, myself included. I really been drafting every night lately on underdog to see how the tool's working. Really proud of how it's coming along. I don't know if it's a sidekick or anything. Pat Crane's tool legendary upside in terms of like how much it'll win you money, because I haven't had it for a year yet. But what it does in terms of simming picks, giving you data, I'm really happy with that tool. Learn more about it at bestballchampion.com or go to splashplaypodcast.com and you'll see the same site. All right, Golden State Warriors at Boston, 216.5 combined points here. Porzingis, revenge game here. Thank you. I'll take it's nifty. I feel like could have maybe some exclamation points. It's with the best tool you've ever played with, that kind of thing. But Golden State, 102.5 implied points. Nothing coming up here. Porzingis went nuts last game, played 25 minutes, put up 2 fantasy points per minute. He has looked, again, effectiveness per minute-wise, as good as you would ever expect for a guy who has the litany of health stuff going on with him with the pots and other stuff. That's better. The best ball champion gives a rock hard erection. But Porzingis in this spot, don't think you want to chase it. It is a revenge game. Wouldn't fault you for playing a little bit of Porzingis if you're doing a 150 max, just because like the per minute stuff for him on Golden State has been pretty wacky, especially with Al Horford off the court. Like some of his minutes he played with Al Horford earlier were like him being sick still, kind of fucked up. But lately with Horford gone, he's just going bananas. So Porzingis, the only guy I'd really point out on Golden State, it's not a great total, not a great matchup. Thank you. I'm on the best tool you've played with. I mean, look, once you get your hand on the best ball champion, or as its friends call it, the BBC, you've never experienced bigger or better, is what we say about the best ball tool. Boston Celtics here. Jason Tatum, the one that seems most playable to me and the field. 9% owned for the field. I'm getting 9% as well. Tatum, to me, not a priority play at 8,700, but he's been doing really well. Now, second highest assist rate in the team behind Jaylen Brown. His usage as well, higher than Jaylen Brown since they both have been playing together this year. So for Jason Tatum, averaging 1.3 fantasy points a minute. When he starts to shoot a little bit better, right now at 51% true shooting, you're probably talking about him being a 1.4, 1.5 guy again. I think Jason Tatum, to me, slate breaking upside 8,700, even though, I don't think you go nuts there. Peyton Pritchard, 5x value on the team. Not super exciting, though, at 5% ownership. I'm getting 8. He's 6,400. It's not a bad price tag, but I feel like we need more guys out to want to play Peyton Pritchard at this point. Jaylen Brown, 5% owned, getting 7. Give him a little bit of respect for usage, but he really could make a case that I should have knocked his usage rate down even further than the 30% I'm giving him right now. Celtics, to me, not the most compelling team, but maybe some old NBA Finals vibes creep up for the Celtics. They put a beat down on here with a lot of fantasy points. I'm just not seeing it. Thunder at Brooklyn, 213.5 combined points. AJ Mitchell, the only Thunder player really coming up here, 29% owned. I'm getting 52. I would think that functionally your most direct leverage on AJ Mitchell would be a Jared McCain type at 3,800. But AJ Mitchell starting, most likely. He did start yesterday. The minute's a little bit less effective when he is starting because you're playing alongside SGA and potentially Chet Holmgren if he goes today. But, getting some of the backup guard minutes, still a positive for AJ. I'm not going to fade him because he's always been one of my guys in the data, and he has won me a good amount of money earlier in the year on some of those slates. But 5K salary, I like the price tag, like the minutes load. Do you think, though, he's probably going to be a little bit less productive than his one fantasy point minute this year, just when you account for the fact he's playing with guys that are better around him as opposed to the second unit? Caruso in the data right now with his Q tag. Wait, is he a Q tag actually? Let me confirm that. I know he was out in the data earlier. No, he's just going to play. He's not on the injury report at all. So Caruso going to play. Q tags on Chet Holmgren is the only one left, the Q tag. Barnheiser, Carlson, Dort, Topic, Jalen Williams with no Y out. So yeah, I guess really nothing else we're waiting for besides Chet on OKC. If Chet's out, I think that Jalen Williams, the Y, starts to look playable at a 6K salary. But otherwise, I think it's only AJ Mitchell playable. Kenrich Williams has been out of the rotation lately. Might get back in with Hartenstein out, but I don't think there's anything you trust here on OKC, really. Besides AJ Mitchell, I guess. Nets, let's save time on. Nobody playable. 97.5 implied points. They're all terrible. I would be surprised if anybody on the team scored over 30 fantasy points today. Clax is not playing enough minutes to do it. If anybody were to do it, it's probably Danny Wolf, but it's 6,200. I don't think you want to pay that price tag to find out. Yeah, Nets, unplayable. Just unplayable. They don't have anybody fun anymore. If MPJ played, maybe he could talk me into like a share, but ugh. Jalen Williams live for more than 24 minutes, I would think. Do we need Chet out for that? I would think we want Chet out to feel good about it, but it does feel a little bit low to me because I think you can start them both together. But Stokastic's not giving him the minutes right now, so if I had to guess in the data at the very least, until you know Jalen Williams starts, I think they're going to want Chet out. Wouldn't be shocking though if Chet were out. I'm in fact surprised even a Q tag right now. I'm also surprised like SGA is not a Q tag. Portland, Indiana here, 231.5 combined points here. Like I mentioned, I just don't get what Stokastic did minutes-wise for Robert Williams here. 26.5 minutes. He hasn't played that in a long time. If he were to play it, you need Donovan Clingan to be out. They're not going to combine play 56.5 minutes. So Robert Williams, not really a play. Take him off your mind. Denny Avdia, 16% owned by the field. I'm getting 12. Avdia, think he does have a pretty big ceiling here facing Indiana. That's at 8,800. With his minutes being up lately, you're now paying, pretty much full freight for what you got for Denny historically. And he hasn't been as good as he was before the back injury. So Denny Avdia, don't mind him here at 16% ownership. Definitely one of the cheaper pivots to the 9K plus tier of guys if you're not playing Jokic. But that's the best case you can make for him. Drew Holiday, I always like a little bit. He's not really popping my data here. 5% ownership for me. Across 100,000 contest sims, Fields at 4. Yeah, Portland, mostly Avdia, I think, at this point. Robert Williams. And obviously, too, I think. Maybe not obviously. Robert Williams' minutes coming down should make Avdia's projection a little bit better. So maybe Avdia looks like a slightly better play when they fix Robert Williams' minutes being silly. Pacers on their side. Real fast, I'll read the Pacers Q tags for you. Yeah, Clingan with 30 and Robert Williams 26.5. Sometimes they just run an algorithm, I think, during midday. I wish they wouldn't do it, but like it's not my company. I know. But like if you're doing a props tool, I don't think you should run algorithmic minutes midday because that means people might be taking those bets for Robert Williams overs, whatever. And it's like, why? Like there's no reason to take an over for him. But something to be mindful of. Look, ultimately with tools, with whether it's me, how I update stuff or them, you just got to know what you have, what the deal is going in. And I try to point stuff out for you guys. It's like, watch out. Just like watch out for the minutes at 2 p.m. That's always the thing. When it gets to 5 p.m., 6 p.m., that's when their minutes are really tight and good to go. Pause, but like then you can trust things. But right now they just kind of do some shit. All right, so we got for Indiana, and let's flip to the NBA injury report. Of course, a publicly accessible document that any of you can go see if you want. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Q tags. 10 actually, Zubac as well. 10 Q tags for the Pacers. Furphy, Halliburton out for the year. I guess Halliburton might come back at some point theoretically, but likely out for the year. Pascal Siakam out already. Obi Toppin out already. We don't know enough about Indiana here. When you have 9 Q tags, you can't even make a logical assumption at this point. I would assume some guys are out. That said, they've been playing more guys lately than I feel like they should have. And they're still not playing enough minutes to really matter. So Quentin Jackson earlier today, that's why he's on the thumbnail. It looked like Nembhard and Stokastic data was out. They'd had Zubac out, McConnell out. Now, because those guys were all Q tags, Quentin Jackson doesn't look good. But if we get what's more likely, which is that Nembhard doesn't play, McConnell doesn't play in a back-to-back. If those guys are out, then Quentin Jackson's probably your most important value play of the day at 3,900. If those guys do play, then Indiana looks terrible. So Indiana, an absolute mess. Yeah, as Isaac points out, Star Wars movie intro of injuries. It's stupid stuff they're doing right now. We'll know by 7:30 who's playing and who's not for the Pacers, but I hate what they're doing. If I had to rank my tanking teams like the ones that I find the most fun, most ethical, whatever, I feel like the Pacers have to be towards the bottom of teams I like. And I think they're low ethics too, because they bench guys in the second half and shit like that. The Kings are now, I think, the peak of ethical tanking because they're actually playing like DeRozan a shitload of minutes, Westbrook a lot of minutes. Sometimes in like the tank off games a little bit less, but even then they won one of the tank offs lately. So I think the Kings would be like my top ethical tank off team. Nets getting down now at this point as well, but they tried for a while. I don't know, man. I just hate the fucking Pacers. I really, what they're doing this year is driving me nuts. Jazz at Minnesota. We got no Keontae George, no Lowry Markkanen, the usual guys missing for the Jazz lately. 230.5 combined points here. Jazz not popping up very much. Again, Baz and Beng played 30 minutes last game, and actually real fast. Let's go to the stupid NBA Wowie for Utah because they did some real dumb shit last game in this tank Olympics down the home stretch. Jazz last game versus the Kings. They played Anderson Garcia 43 minutes. And during his 43 minutes, he put up 8% usage. So he still got up because he played 43 minutes, got up 27 fantasy points. Bazem Bang off the bench played 32 minutes. He only put up 14.8 fantasy points. You had Isaiah Collier still playing 24 and a half. Cody Williams played 38. Harkless played 40 plus. The Jazz are doing real dumb shit. Again, Pacers level dumb shit. But they're extending guys minutes, so there is some theoretical opportunity here. You need to know who's starting. Again, this is a 8 o'clock start time, so that's a little bit tough. The guys who are playing 40 minutes are the worst players on the team. I mean, Harkless on the year, 0.7 fan sports minute. Cody Williams, 0.65. Bazem Bang, 0.64, very limited sample size. Actually, no, he's at 0.49. Anderson Garcia, limited sample size, 0.64. They're just terrible. They're really also some of the worst players in the league. And I don't know, man. I don't know how you play these guys, but there is a ceiling there if you're going to play guys 40 minutes. The roster should have a few more bodies so they don't have to do that today. But the Jazz are another mess that right now nobody looks playable. But somebody can be playable because you're doing like Farfetch, not the Pokemon. That's not a Pokemon that comes to mind for me, but Lucas got Farfetched, and now Farfetched is always in my brain somewhere. It's far-fetched that these guys are going to play well, but they might play 40 minutes, a few of them, and the worst players could put 30 fantasy points up as a value. Awful, awful stuff. It's only going to get worse, guys. We still got 3.5 more weeks of the NBA season. It's only going to get worse. Minnesota here. Yeah, Cody Williams was legendary last game. Didn't know he had it in him. Yeah, he's terrible. He's terrible. He's one of those players too, where I was doing my regression stuff, was working with Claude in Excel earlier, just to try to get, a screen that would allow me to get small sample size stuff in a way that I would like it. And I know it works right with my current projection set. And like Cody Williams, they're like, should we boost Cody Williams? I'm like, he's played like a million minutes here. We know who he is. But yeah, like that's what happens. Is these players, they're all replacement level players in the Jazz at this point. Minnesota, 122 implied points here. A lot of ownership for Minnesota because they're facing the Jazz and no Anthony Edwards. Dosunmu, chalky again, 64% owned by the field. I'm getting 72. Again, I think he's a good play. He has been a worse producer on Minnesota than he was in the Bulls zone. That needs to be pointed out. Bones Highland played really well last time out. Box score chasing is definitely going to be there for sure. After people know that he was good previously with Ant out, then he gets 25 plus minutes last time out, puts up a good score, beats out Dosunmu. But Bones Highland, really hard to critique it because he's facing Utah, and he does get usage up with Anthony Edwards off the court. Fields at 49%, I'm getting 54 across 100,000 contest sims. Naz Reid, the field's at 31, I'm getting 36. Not a priority play to me as much as you were getting there ownership-wise, but the field's going to be there. 25 and a half minutes at 5,600. Naz Reid absolutely has a ceiling going against Utah. Julius Randle, 27% owned by the field. I'm getting that same 27. He's the player you should look at first in terms of expecting a big ceiling here. He's putting up just shy of 1.3 fantasy sports minute this year with Anthony Edwards off the court. Randle pretty expensive, and with it being a back-to-back, Randle playing a little bit less minutes, not a crazy thing to anticipate, if not expect. So for Julius Randle, don't think he's a player to go crazy on. Don't lock him in or anything. But I think, 27%, if he got to 50%, I really wouldn't hate it. Anything more than that, you're running the risk pretty real. Jaden McDaniels, 18% owned by the field. I'm getting 24. Another guy has decent days occasionally when Anthony Edwards is out. More usage to go around for sure. And I would say if a guy like Bones Highland were to fail again, more usage flowing Jaden McDaniels' way. Definitely one of the things that could happen. DiVincenzo, similar thing there. Not a priority player. With only a 17% usage rate on the year, but he'll have more opportunity for Ant vacating all the usage he leaves behind. But DiVincenzo, I'd say, relative to all these T-Wolves, the least appealing one in my data. And then Rudy Gobert, I think with all the ownership going Naz Reid's way, factor facing Utah, revenge game for Gobert as well. Really terrible Jazz team. He could put up a double-double here. Easy shots at the rim with, potential block steal upside and just getting a bunch of rebounds from them, missing a bunch of shots. So Gobert at 7,100. Hate the price tag, but a 37.4 projection. I think that he's a nice pivot against Naz Reid, and center only. Just don't think he gets played that much. And then we got, oh my God, how many fucking more games? How are there so many NBA games? I'm going to speed up a little bit here. Not talk fast, but just get through these games faster. We got the Clippers at Pelicans, 233.5 combined points. Kawhi Leonard, the priority Clipper here, 11% owned by the field. I'm getting 17. If you're not playing Jokic, playing Kawhi with, a Giddey, with some of the cheaper guys, I think is a pretty appealing way to build on the slate. Derrick Jones, not really a value. Chris Dunn, not really a value. Darius Garland, so expensive, 7,900, but the rates have been good on the Clippers, and he is facing a terrible Pelicans team. Pelicans on their side, DeJounte Murray, the only one I think that really stands out, about a 38 projection from me and Stokastic. I think he is a solid play at 7,500, and I would say based on his 1.36 fantasy point per minute, it can get better for him. Pace down spot, though, versus the Clippers. Not really a ceiling situation. Trey Murphy can get hot here. He's not really coming up. Only 6% ownership for me, 7%. Fields at 5. Herb Jones, not really for me. Zion, greatly impacted by having DeJounte Murray back in. I wouldn't go there. I think DeJounte is a Q tag right now still with his illness. No, he's available as the most recent injury report. So DeJounte Murray playing, not great for anybody here besides DeJounte Murray. Toronto at Chicago. Jamal Shed, the value coming up here, 26% ownership. I'm getting 33. Don't think that holds when Stokastic knocks the minutes down just a little bit. He's a backup player. You need some injuries for Jamal Shed to matter. Not really a guy we want to get to, but he is 3,500. There are not a lot of $3,500 players on today's DraftKings slate. RJ Barrett, 18% owned by the field. I'm getting 17. Feel like he's coming up all the time lately, even though he's my least favorite Raptor out of the core 4, I'd say, really. Yeah, 7,300 small forward. The price tag probably works well. And small forward, really not one of our better positions usually, so I get that. Barnes at 10%, Ingram at 10%, fine. Nothing really noteworthy here. Quickly a little bit lower. Chicago, Leonard Miller playing well for the Bulls so far, but when the team is getting Colin Sexton in, potentially, he's a Q tag right now. A little bit of usage flowing away from Miller, not a great thing for him at 4,800. But really, to me, Josh Giddey, the only priority Bull, getting 17% of him. Fields at 13. That ceiling that he has is really big, especially if he plays closer to 40 minutes as opposed to mid-30s like he did last game out versus Memphis. The Raptors a pretty good team. They definitely can blow out the Bulls, but only a 7.5 point spread going against the Bulls at home here. So Giddey, Buzelis, I think the most interesting here. Miller and Jalen Smith. Getting played by the field. They're not bad plays. I don't think they're super compelling either. Denver at Memphis. Jokic, your highest owned Nugget here with 128.5 implied points, which is your highest total on the slate. Jokic, 33% owned by the field. I'm getting 21 right now. I do think practically, if I were running lineups, I'd get him in half of them. Just, I think he's that player where every slate, for the most part, I want to get him in half my lineups. We did see yesterday, though, a game that didn't matter. As we talked about earlier in the chat, playing 25 minutes, that can happen here in a similar way against Memphis if they don't stay competitive. Jamal Murray, 9% owned. I'm getting 12. Most live lever against Jokic when he gets highly owned is Jamal Murray. With Aaron Gordon out, with Peyton Watson not available yet, nobody else looks that good. Christian Brown plays a ton of minutes. He's been so bad this year. One of the worst contracts in the NBA right now. Unless you really love his defense, I think he's going to get better come playoff time. He's not shooting well from 3. He's been terrible. Christian Brown is like, one of my least favorite players in the league, actually, relative to how much he's getting paid. Memphis, 116 implied points. Ty Jerome, the only one I think that seems super compelling. Getting 18% of them. Fields at 14. I think the minutes are a little bit low for Stokastic as well. Ty Jerome's probably going to make a quarter of my lineups, if not, 33%. Just a permanent beast all year, 1.51 fan sports minute. And accounting for his rates with the Grizzlies that aren't available today, I'd have him closer to 1.75 today. We'll see what happens. GG Jackson, 7% owned by the field. I'm getting 10. Jackson, minutes don't seem to get that high for him. They have started to rest him a little bit lately as well. But I think GG Jackson, decent ceiling in this spot. Maybe they need more size going against Jokic, though they really don't like to play GG at the 5 as much. More of him at the 4 generally. And that's it for Memphis. We need some guys ruled out here, but at this point, I don't know that we're going to get it. Memphis, we have a Q tag on Meshack, but I don't even think he has to play today because they have enough bodies on the wing. Like, Meshack being out wouldn't impact anything. I think it's mostly just the Ty Jerome dice roll. Hope he gets 25 minutes and puts up 50 fantasy points. If not 40 fantasy points in 25 minutes. And Hawks at Dallas, our last game of the slate. 238.5 combined points here. Hawks, not a lot of ownership coming for anybody, but Jalen Johnson always has that ceiling that we could consider on a slate. 13% owned by the field. I'm getting 17. Dyson Daniels, 11% of the field. I'm getting 12. Jock Landale is valued at 3,300. Fields getting 6. I'm getting 12. Nothing great on Atlanta, but Landale, I think, is a value play, noteworthy in the same way Jamal Shed was. Dallas Mavericks here. Nothing great, really, with Gafford being back in. Gafford's your highest owned Maverick. Cooper Flagg has a ceiling, but at 8,900, I'm not going to pay to find out. Yeah, I don't like the Mavs at all. Najee Marshall put up the 50 burger a couple games ago, or last game. It's like no rhyme or reason to how these things go off lately, but getting more bodies in like Gafford, not a great thing for the team. Let's look at the sim data on my site real fast. This time of year stinks when the scrubs are all priced up. Yeah, I like this first part where the scrubs like start to filter in and we get them at like 3K minimums, but it's fun to identify which ones are actually good and which ones aren't, I guess, depending on your definition of fun. All right, my sim data here across 100,000 contest sims. Again, take out Robert Williams because it's affected by Stokastic giving him too many minutes. I would assume 72% sim representation across 100,000 contest sims. So Dasunmu would be the priority here relative to the sim win rate for these guys. Bones Highland, number 2 at 54. AJ Mitchell right behind him at 52. On FanDuel, we have Bones Highland, number 1 at 61. Jade McDaniels, number 2 at 49. And Naz Reid, number 3 at 49, just barely ahead of Ayo Dasunmu. DK, guys who hit 30 plus the most, Jokic, Jalen Johnson, Kawhi. 40 plus the most, Jokic, Jalen Johnson, Kawhi. 50 plus the most, Jokic, Jalen Johnson, Josh Giddey. And 60 plus the most, Jokic, Jalen Johnson, Josh Giddey. A little more standard deviation on Giddey would be my guess. Guys who 5x the most, again, taking out Robert Williams. AJ Mitchell, 90% of the time. Dasunmu, 86. Jamal Shed, 85. Guys who 6x the most, AJ Mitchell, 68. Ayo Dasunmu, 61. Jamal Shed, 55. On FanDuel, the guys who 5x the most, Bones Highland at 86, Naz Reid at 83, Rudy Gobert at 81. Guys who 6x the most, Bones Highland at 59, Rudy Gobert at 45, and Ayo Dasunmu at 42. So the steal and block upside for Gobert seemingly a little more important on FanDuel at 6,500. I still like Gobert, though, at 7,100 on DK, but the price tag definitely pretty nice on FanDuel for Rudy Gobert today. All right, let's go to Stokastic next. Let's run their sim. Hopefully they have an update as well. Please get Robert Williams. All right, they have an update, so let's pray Robert Williams gets out of this one. Before I do that, guys, we're going to build 5,000 lineups, have them compete 10,000 times with Stokastic data, so no impact for me on this one. Please help me out. Hit that like button and subscribe. Again, goes a long way for me and any creator you enjoy on YouTube, even at the monolithic, gigantic companies. But really for ones like me, I'm a mom and pop shop doing data, tools for you guys, content for you guys every day here for the NBA, soon for the MLB as well. I do the best I can to be prepared to give you guys real takes, also be willing to critique Stokastic, who's been a great partner for me across many years as a full-time employee before when they first launched, now as a contractor. But that's what this video is, trying to give you guys an honest read, to be a middleman for you guys in your process, much like my site is at splashplaypodcast.com. So show up here. We'll do the work together at Monday to Friday at 2 p.m. as best we possibly can. Check out Stokastic as well, 15% off all their data, all their tools over there. Get it for yourself right now. And it's any package, weekly, monthly, even yearly over at Stokastic. So check it out. NBA, of course, the sport you probably want with that promo code SPLASH, but you can also get NHL, you can get PGA, you can get NASCAR, you get all of them rolled up into one as well over at Stokastic. So use that promo code SPLASH for 15% off. Support yourself and the show. And last but not least, really support the show at splashplaypodcast.com. So we get all my data here, $20 a month for the Squirt Squad tier, $40 a month for the VIP tier. And on the VIP tier, you get everything I have right now for NBA, for MLB, even my best ball champion tool for NFL, which is a draft assistant that is, I think, right now the coolest in the business, if not the best. So check it out at Splashplay, and it's cheaper too. Splashplaypodcast.com, $40 a month. I think really the buffet deal I give you. I'm always a guy that I've enjoyed a buffet, not as fat as I've been in times where I might enjoy a buffet, but still I enjoy a buffet. And for my site, you're getting a buffet. You go, you take a little bit of NBA next week, take a little bit of MLB, go do some best ball drafts right now. Pre-NFL draft, they're up a lot of money up top on Underdog and DraftKings. That's what I'm trying to give you guys at my site. So check it out for yourself. Get yourself a plate, try a buffet. I am both mom and pop. I have both genitals combined into one. AJ Mitchell, your top ROI lineup right now on Stokastic. AJ Mitchell, Bones Highland, Kason Wallace, Julius Randle, Jalen Williams of the Y, Josh Giddey, Ayo Dasunmu, Ty Jerome. So they must have bumped up Jalen Williams' minutes a little bit here. And I have to assume they probably bumped down Robert Williams' minutes. Number 2, Josh Giddey, Bones Highland, Ayo Dasunmu, Jalen Williams of the Y again, Daniel Gafford, DeJounte Murray, Naz Reid, Ty Jerome. Number 3, AJ Mitchell again, Bones Highland again, Ayo Dasunmu, Jalen Williams, Jalen Smith, DeJounte Murray, Kawhi Leonard, Rudy Gobert. No Jokic, conspicuous by his absence up top. Number 4, AJ Mitchell, Bones Highland, Ayo Dasunmu, Denny Avdia. Robert Williams makes this one. So did they not fucking change Robert Williams' minutes? Hold on. They did change his minutes, so he's still coming up, even getting 20 minutes here. And you had Jalen Williams. I thought they would bump the minutes, but I wasn't sure they would. They bumped Jalen Williams to 33, but that's a massive bump. Probably too big of a bump to give him 33. Unless Chet's out, I'm not trusting 33, but that's why Jalen Williams is coming up so much. But Robert Williams, they did give a more reasonable 19, so him coming up here is fair game. Like, I think he's still a decent value for them with how they're viewing things. But anyway, this lineup, I forget if I read all of it, but AJ Mitchell, Bones Highland, Dasunmu, Denny Avdia, Robert Williams, Josh Giddey, Jalen Williams, the Y. Ty Jerome makes it. Love to see that. Number 5, A.J. Mitchell, Iodesunmu, Jaden McDaniels, Jalen Williams, the Y again. Robert Williams makes this one as well. Josh Giddey, Julius Randle, and Jalen Smith. I don't mind these lineups. The Robert Williams part, I'm still a little bit iffy on, but at least they're coming about it earnestly this time as opposed to giving him too many minutes. But A.J. Mitchell, though, my boy is coming up way more than I would have thought. I thought he was like my little treat. And no, apparently we're all gonna be running a train on A.J. Mitchell today if we use Stokastic data. Your top ROI players across the entire set of lineups, not just the top 150. You got Jalen Williams, number 1 with a 55% ROI. I think the minutes projection is a little bit aggressive, but he's a good per minute producer versus Brooklyn is where he should have that like actual triple-double upside. But again, I feel better if Holmgren were out. Josh Giddey, 5% ROI. He's at number 2. AJ Mitchell, 3% ROI. Despite him being mega chalk in some of these lineups, it looks like he is number 3. Bones Highland at number 4, slightly negative ROI, but we don't care about that. We just care where they rank. Rudy Gobert and Robert Williams tied for number 5 with Leonard Miller right behind. Highest exposure players across Stokastic's top 150 lineups. Bones Highland makes 87% of them. Fields at 55, so that's a big pro stand on Bones Highland, even though he's already owned by more than half the field. Iodesunmu, 83% exposure. Fields 65, so not quite lock button plays, but functionally pretty close to it for Iodesunmu and Bones Highland. Jalen Williams of the Y, they have him as only being 7% owned, so you're getting 72. Obviously, with the projection they're giving him, they didn't update the ownership, so that's why. The ownership has to come up for Jalen Williams. That'll make the exposure probably flatten out a little bit, but they think he's about a 70% play. Maybe the field plays him based on their 33 minutes projection, 50%. So Jalen Williams now completely different play with the amount of minutes they're giving him. I would imagine when they get to lock, they might settle in like they previously had 23 minutes for Jalen Williams. Now it's 33. They'll probably land at like 28, and he'll look like a pretty good play, but not like this screaming play that he currently is. A.J. Mitchell, 28% owned by the field. They're giving you 63. I like A.J. Mitchell as well. Said it's a lot of A.J. Mitchell. And Nikola Jokic, 40% owned by the field. They're giving you 40 as well. So holding hands to the field on Jokic, just barely ahead of Julius Randle. And Robert Williams, who is at his lower minutes, still making about a 37% exposure rate here. And the field's at 22. Your biggest leverage players across Stokastic's top 150. Jalen Williams with the Y, 65% leverage on him. Not a surprise to the high number they have and the ownership not being updated yet. A.J. Mitchell, 35% leverage on him. Bones Highland, 31. Iodesunmu, 18. Josh Giddey, 14% leverage. And Robert Williams, also 14% leverage on him. Your negative leverage plays, Jamal Shed, only 16% exposure, Fields at 28. They're not loving him as a value at 3,500 with the ownership being there. Kobe Brown, negative 8% leverage. Sure, I don't really like him either. We need a lot of Indiana guys out for me to play Kobe Brown. Najee Marshall, negative 7% leverage. Sure, wouldn't point chase him. Denny Avdia, negative 6%. I like him a little bit more than that, but the field's at 13%. They're only giving you 7 of Denny Avdia. And Dyson Daniels, negative 6% leverage on him, only 4% exposure. And the field's at 10. All right, let's close it out with a handy. All you guys, I'm the only person in the business that can give every hundreds of men a handy at once. A few women too. Let's go over here next. All right, Stokastic data looks different now. So I'm going to try to account for that, but I'm not going to rerun stuff because I just don't feel like doing that yet. Now let's build it out. Point guard. Top sim rate guy for me before this recent Stokastic update was Bones Highland. So Bones at point guard for me would be option number 1. Iodesunmu is shooting guard, small forward. He's got to make one of these spots for me. I'm thinking... You know what? I'm actually thinking I'm going to put Bones at shooting guard. The shooting guard and small forward, both not great positions. So Bones shooting guard. Iodesunmu at small forward. Because Iodesunmu, for me, has a 72% sim win rate. My next closest player at small forward is Jaden McDaniels at 24, which could be theoretical leverage if we're playing like, 150 max, even a 20 max. If we're building one lineup to sim out, I'm not going to do that right now. So we'll go Iodesunmu at small forward. My point guard's going to be A.J. Mitchell. 52% sim win rate for me on A.J. Mitchell. And Stokastic sim likes him as well, so we can live with it. My power forward, highest simming power forward is Naz Reid, 36%. Randall, number 2 at 27. Jalen Johnson, number 3 at 17. I think it's Naz Reid at power forward for me. We know the sim likes Jalen Williams now, so I will put him in at center. Though we could save him for the other forward spot. Let's put Jokic in at center. And let's put Jalen with the Y at the other forward spot so we keep some more flexibility. right, now we got a guard utility, 58.50 left for these last two spots. Julius Randle is a 27% sim win rate for me. I don't know what Robert Williams would have. Let's put in Robert Williams. Sim liked him. I think at 19 minutes, he's still a decent value. And now, again, I feel like, what was my projection higher? Hold on, let me just see if I'm or Stokastic am higher on Robert Williams. This will be an important tell for me. All right, so they have Robert Williams at, they have him about a fantasy point and change higher in the previous run of minutes. So Robert Williams probably not my guy. I'm not going to play him in this lineup. All right, back to the Matrix. Guard Jamal Shed. Guard Ty Jerome. I do love my boy Ty Jerome here. Let's try to put him in. I don't know how he's going to sim for Stokastic. He was in a few of those top ROI lineups. Ty Jerome, my boy here, and I think there's a chance he could put up that 1.5 to 1.75 fan sports minute that we need today for him to actually make a winning lineup. And utility, we have 5K left. We got Gary Payton II, Cam Spencer, Herb Jones. This is an awful tier of guys. Holy shit. All right. 5K or less. AJ Mitchell good at 5K. Dosunmu good at 5K. Leonard Miller is your closest besides that on 9% sim win rate for me on Leonard Miller. So let's put him in. Final team here. AJ Mitchell, Bones Highland, Ayo Dosunmu, Naz Reid, Nikola Jokic, Ty Jerome, Jalen Williams, Leonard Miller. 154% ROI, 0.4% sim win rate. Top 10% rates, 4%. I like that. That's not bad. That's not bad. I'll go out on that. That's our video right now, guys. I'm going to give you guys my splash plays for the day in one moment. But before I do, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. You guys know the deal here. Again, I work as hard as I possibly can to give you guys good content every day. And I know a lot of you guys out there get it because I keep seeing the like count on here. So please, let's keep fighting the good fight. Hit that like button and subscribe here. Of course, new videos Monday to Friday at 2 p.m. Now I'm doing the best I can for this for MLB as well. Again, made some tools there. I got to tighten them up over the next week to make sure they're perfect and good to go and have everything, every itch scratched that I possibly can for them. But that's the work I'm doing here Monday to Friday at 2 p.m. on the channel. Join along for that ride for NBA and soon for MLB as well. You want to get more DFS in your life and prop betting too. Stokastic 15% off using the promo code SPLASH. All their data, all their tools. Big way to support what I'm doing here and get great DFS lineups for yourself every single night. Again, idiot-proof good DFS lineups night after night, including yesterday in the top 50K up top tournament. You saw 5 out of top 6 lineups, all Stokastic avatars. That's like every night across, even if it's not the big tournaments. Some tournament out there, mini max, 20 max, all that stuff. Stokastic avatars are dominating this year and really have to give them all the credit in the world. I like building my own stuff and using that, but like if I were not to do that, and previously when I haven't done that, I use Stokastic first and foremost, still use their late swap stuff every single night as well. So check it out for yourself over at Stokastic. Really important tools for you guys out there to build idiot-proof, good DFS lineups. And last but not least, my site, splashlightpodcast.com. Data in the NBA will update more than you would like to know. Stuff will change here from when I start the stream to when we end the stream. That's how it goes in the NBA. You need to see updates as the day goes on. Check out my updates, splashlightpodcast.com. All the screens I showed you here on stream, get them for yourself updated throughout the night. The minutes screen alone, I think, is worth the $20 on the Squirt Squad tier, but the projection matrix, that Squirt Squad tier, the game-by-game matchup screens, that Squirt Squad tier, VIP, you're getting all the simulation data across 100,000 contest sims for DraftKings and FanDuel, and the night slates as well. So check it out for yourself, splashlightpodcast.com. Support what I'm doing. I'll do the best I can to support you guys in your ventures as well. All right, splash plays of the day. I think now one of them has to be Jalen Williams. I know how he looks in my data generally. The fact they're giving him respectable minutes again. Do you think he's going to come up? So I'll plan him as one. Jokic is also splash play of the day. Like I'm going to have him in half my lineups. I'm pretty confident. Just think that he's in a good spot as long as that ownership doesn't get too high. So to me, right now, he's a splash play of the day. If their ownership updates, though, and he's in half the lineups, then I guess he's, I don't know. It really depends how you define splash play of the day. To me, it's like the core plays I'm enthusiastic for, and he's one of those. Absolutely, AJ Mitchell, one of them. Absolutely, Bones Highland, one of them. Absolutely, like Dosunmu, I'm not crazy about, but I do think he's one of them. Those guys both can hit in parallel as well. You might get a little more mileage out of playing max one of them, I guess, but I think they're both very much in play. Man, those were really the ones I think. Ty Jerome, lower owned splash play for sure. And Naz Reid, I think a splash play too, just because of what he offers you at power forward at that price tag. But that's it. Those are the splash plays of the day right now. things will update. Check out splashplaypodcast.com to see what it does. Make sure to gamble responsibly, guys. Really important part this time of year, even though it is always money time on the Splash Play channels. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow the channel at Splash Play Bets on YouTube, at Splash Play Pod on Twitter. You'll see a tweet go out whenever I go live. And that's it for me today, guys. I'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Check it out. Again, check out my stuff over at splashplaypodcast.com, especially if you haven't yet. The BBC, the best ball champion for the NFL best ball drafts. Really proud of that tool. I think it's much sicker than I had hoped it would be. Like, just be real about it. I knew I was going to put the work in, try to make it as good as I can, but like, it does a lot of shit that I didn't think would be possible to pull off, especially the 10K sims in 3 seconds. It's like fucking crazy. So check it out. Splashplaypodcast.com. Lots of good stuff on there for you guys. And I'll see you guys again soon. So, hey, enjoy your days. Good luck. And you know what? Here's a comment for you guys. Girl, you look thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. And that's the face I make when I check you out. So just got to click the gifts sometimes, guys. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Enjoy your days. Good luck. And tomorrow, Luca's birthday. So tune in for that because it's going to be a real special day here with my son's 4th birthday. But I'll catch you guys then. Bye-bye. Good luck.